awesome to be here. Chris's words amazing. Kira, I had goosebumps. Like seriously, artists, I'm always amazed by artists. Artists just totally blow me away because, you know, I'm the furthest thing from an artist. I'm a runner. As you heard in my bio, I'm a runner. And running for me, running's been a teacher. Has been and is a teacher. It's taught me things about myself that I otherwise would have never learned. And it's taught me about my world. It's taken me around the world. I've been blessed by that. Just recently, as you heard in the intro, just weeks ago, I finished a run where I started running on the Peruvian-Chilean border. And I ran south for 1,200 kilometers, 20 days, 60K a day, to cross the entire Atacama deserts. That's pretty cool because it's a Canadian expedition, right? You know? But anyway, I'm out there and I'm communicating with students while I'm out there about everything that I'm learning about myself, about my environment, the Atacama, how dry, and all these really cool things, you know? And it's awesome, but I'll tell you what I'm most passionate about are my youth expeditions, the youth expeditions that I do. And the last one was in October last year. We had a group of 4 youth ambassadors in my organization, Impossible2Possible. They came with us to the jungle and they trekked through the Amazon 100 kilometers over the course of the week and shared their experiences live with video conferencing to 20,000 students around the globe. They also shared what they were learning about biodiversity from the indigenous peoples of the Amazon jungle. So it really was truly an inclusive experience for schools and classrooms, as I said, absolutely everywhere. Right here, if the audio was on, you would hear the exuberance in Jessie's voice at what she has just accomplished. I mean, it truly is a gift to see these young people accomplishing what I'm able to do and go out and do what running has taught me, but see them and share, them sharing peer-to-peer what they're learning about themselves. This photo here exemplifies it completely. All of the emotion is right there. Now, you know, it wasn't always about doing these things and taking youth ambassadors and, you know, going around the world and talking about education for me. As a matter of fact, expeditions like the Amazon jungle had their roots in a very, very different place. This whole organization, Impossible2Possible, that I founded, has its roots in a totally different place. I want you to watch this video just for a couple of minutes and I'll pick it up.
It is the most unforgiving place on Earth. Over 3.5 million square miles. A vast wilderness. It is the Sahara Desert, with people and cultures as unpredictable as the landscape.
Running 50 miles a day, it's the challenge, it's going the distance, it's just pushing myself to my limits.
It's never been done. No one's ever run that far in that period of time.
That will be tough. It's a mental thing, I think.
Imagine running 50 miles per day for more than 100 days. In an unprecedented personal challenge, 3 ultra runners, good friends, test physical strength and mental toughness, running across the entire Sahara Desert.
They're such high-end athletes. They're used to pushing themselves, but they're going to be pushing their bodies more than they ever have in the past.
We've had injury, we've had sickness.
Sorry, dude.
The best thing to do would be to stop for the day, but we have to cover some miles today.
Any Americans found there without proper paperwork are going to be considered spies, liable to execution.
You're going to have to make the best decision for us as a team.
It's so difficult for me because the personalities are so different.
I don't want to push us into the ground, obviously, but I'll push us damn close.
This is, you know, a lot tougher than you could have ever thought.
You can do this. You don't want to quit. It's okay.
We saw a young boy, 7 or 8 years old, in the desert alone, fending for himself while his dad was a 2 days walk away to get water. That's the water situation. I mean, it's so much bigger an issue than I would have ever thought.
Narrated by executive producer Matt Damon and directed by James Mall, a personal and compelling journey into the world's most mysterious wilderness.
The purpose of the 3 of us coming here was to learn more about each other, to learn about the people of the Sahara, and to do something that hasn't been done before.
They all 3 agreed that if one runner went down, they would be out of the expedition.
I thought your commitment was different than that.
When is the end?
The end is when we get to Cairo.
When Africa is one, and we sing this song, show me the way home. Go high, show me the way home. It don't hurt no more.
It
will be a life-changing experience, and not just for the 3 runners, for everybody who's along on this journey.
Okay, so on November 1st, 2006, my 2 best friends and I set out on a journey that absolutely everyone said was impossible. We ran across the entire Sahara Desert, from west coast to east coast. Through 6 countries, we ran 7,500 kilometers. That's like running from St. John's, Newfoundland to Vancouver in the sand, and it's plus 50 out. I mean, it was ridiculously hot. A couple of stats on this expedition: 111 days. That's how long it took us. We averaged 70 kilometers a day because we never took a day off. We had 5 immediate support crew while we were out there. Probably the most difficult part of the expedition was the fact that we had 2 showers the entire time we were out there. So let me tell you something, we were so funky, it was unbelievable. You were gonna get lost in a sandstorm. So it was a plus, right? Your crew would always smell you. You know, and I shout out these statistics all the time, and you know, when I'm trying to tell somebody about this expedition and what it meant to me and what I learned, for sure, there was no doubt that this expedition, this journey, this run, taught me that we are capable of some extraordinary things in our lives. We totally underestimate what we are capable of as human beings. And it also taught me that I honestly believe that we have no limits to what we're capable of doing. It also taught me more about this world. I mean, water, clean drinking water. I learned from the people of the Northern Sahara how precious clean drinking water is. I mean, I come from the greatest country on earth. I come from Canada, where water is plentiful. As you heard in our First Nations communities, not so plentiful in many of those communities, but on the all in all, where I live, I turn the tap on, and I didn't know where my water came from, and I was learning here how precious this resource was. We finished the Running the Sahara expedition after 111 days, and my wife and I said, wow, if we could share this experience, everything that I learned about myself, everything that we learned about the Sahara, and replicate the experience around the world and share that with students all over the globe, how cool would that be? Now, there's something I haven't told you. When I finished the run across the Sahara Desert, and I put my hands into the Red Sea, I, at 37 years of age, have been running for only a few years. A few years before that, I was smoking a pack a day. Yet I had proven to myself that I could do this thing because I set my mind to it. When I was 16 years old, I would have never thought I would be capable of doing something like that. We decided to start this organization called Impossible2Possible. And the mandate was simple: educate, inspire, empower an entire generation of young people and use what I know how to do it, adventure. We started with an expedition to the geographic South Pole, top of the bottom of the world, and as you heard, my 2 buddies and I, 3 of us Canadians, took 33 days, 23 hours, and 55 minutes to get to the South Pole. It was a new world record, and it was really exciting. On board with us, the entire journey of the 33 days, were thousands of our teammates from classrooms all over the world. We, of course, were sharing everything we were learning about this Antarctic landscape, but we were also talking about issues such as climate change, and were we noticing some of the things in Antarctica that would be signs of our changing world? Well, the adventure, of course, was incredible, but to be able to share it with classrooms everywhere, that was the real hook. That was the exciting factor for us as adventurers heading to the South Pole every day. Being able to answer questions and share experiences with our teammates propelled us to get to the South Pole in that new world record time. And we had an idea, and we said, wow, this worked. This was amazing. This was an interactive experience. We used technology in ways that it really wasn't intended to do. And we did something really cool. Can we make it better? And we said, I think we can. I think what we should do is bring youth ambassadors, young people, young adventurers onto expeditions and show students in classrooms everywhere in the world that you don't have to be 40 years old out there doing these things to do the extraordinary, to complete the extraordinary. We set out on an expedition to Baffin Island in 2009 with 5 youth ambassadors from all over North America. They were trained and prepared, and as soon as they were ready, we headed to Canada's north. One of the most beautiful places on earth, I have to tell you. Of all the places I've ever been, Baffin Island, it's extraordinary. Now, they carried all of their gear with them, everything they needed, food, supplies. They were totally self-sufficient. They shared again their experiences, what they were experiencing about, not just about themselves and how difficult this was physically, but sharing Canada's north with the world, celebrating this area of the planet and talking about the ecosystem of the north. It's essentially a classroom in the outdoors. And what they were doing was injecting the messaging, the classroom, and the lessons into the classroom. So expedition into the classroom onto the expedition from all over the world. We used a satellite phone, attached a modem to it in a MacBook, and we were able to send out images and very small video bits. It really was, as far as we were concerned, groundbreaking. We were able to do something, we were reaching that goal of truly inspiring, educating, and empowering young people. I can tell you that for the 5 that completed the journey, reaching the Arctic Circle, I mean, what an incredible accomplishment that was. As far as they were concerned, sky was the limit to what they could achieve. We wanted to take on and tackle an issue that had been visited before in running the Sahara water. And so what we did last April was once again we enlisted 4 youth ambassadors to join us in Tunisia. They ran a marathon a day across the southern Sahara in Tunisia and learned about water from the people in that area. And as I said before with running the Sahara, how precious that resource is to have access to clean, potable drinking water. They would learn from the people of the Sahara and share their experiences daily with classrooms, again all over the world, this time enhancing the technological experience with the video conferencing, the same stuff we used a couple months ago in the Amazon jungle. So you got MacBooks and satellite beacons and everything working together so that they can basically talk in real time to students and share what they're learning, turn the laptop around and say, this is what a sand dune looks like. Now that wasn't it. The inspiration is obvious here. The education was about water and what they were learning. The empowerment was going to be challenging students around the world to do something about what they were learning. Students in classrooms all over the world responded to that challenge to do their own version of the extraordinary, and they raised enough money to build 2 water projects in Africa. It's amazing how resourceful young people can be great social entrepreneurs at any age. This was the mandate of this expedition. Share that culture, share the experience, share the expedition, do something exceptional. And exceptional it was. Running an average of a marathon a day for a week across the southern end of Tunisia was incredible. Meeting with the people of the desert, sharing that physical aspect, leaving camp every day with a tracking device on their back so that every step on a live and interactive map, on a live website, students could track every movement that these 4 youth ambassadors made. Now the websites, you can see a little snippet here, they're very interactive and they're full of features. And by the way, I have to mention, there is no charge for schools to use any of the programs, and there are no charge for the youth ambassadors to come on the expeditions. So anybody that wants to can access this information, and you can imagine sharing that experience. It was like running the Sahara was live, but there were 17, 18, and 19-year-olds running across the desert. It wasn't Ray and his buddies doing it. Now, running across the desert, these images here will give you sort of a first-hand impression of what it looks like running in, 45-degree heat with a pack on your back. It was absolutely incredible. And of course, the drama, as you know, is one of the most incredible and inspiring aspects of doing something like this. And being able to share that in real time. How difficult, because the best things are sometimes the most difficult to achieve. These 4 had that. This is the technology. I want to show you a little bit about this. Sharing the message daily. So you've got the beacon. The beacon is the satellite beacon that allows us to have that internet signal. You have the MacBook. And again, we're video conferencing and sharing that in real time. So this is like this is what it looks like when we're out there in the field or in the sand. This is what it feels. Check this out.
Came through an oasis here in the middle of the desert. In a well.
And this is the stuff. This is what we're talking about. This is exactly what Ryan's and what Giving Water Foundation. That's what we're trying to raise money for. This is a well. This is the stuff.
What it's all about. This oasis here. There's some people you can see with water jugs over there. I don't know how far they come to get this water, but this is just incredible. This oasis.
We're all capable of the extraordinary. And I'm always blown away, each expedition we do, watching these young people do what they do out there. I'm always amazed to see how much they're willing to push themselves, how passionate they become about the social or environmental issue that we're tackling in an expedition or the topic that we're talking about. It's amazing to me, and I honestly believe in what we're trying to do with Impossible to Possible is a small piece. But we need to make education interesting, again. It needs to be compelling. We need to use technology, I believe, to bring the classroom into a more interactive and technologically active environment. Having students being able to use those tools that they that they are so savvy with. If you give a generation of young people the tools they need to achieve the things that I know they're capable of, there is no doubt in my mind that we have a generation of problem solvers, a generation of change makers that are going to totally change the face of this planet. I think with process, with proper education, with access to the fundamentals, more access to technology and more programs like what we're trying to do with experience-based and challenge-based programs, young people being able to show what they're capable of in an environment where they can thrive. There are no boundaries. There are no boundaries. That's all I have to say. Thank you.